Hi, my name's Sarah. I'm from Maker Futures, and this little video is going to show you how to improve your drilling skills and to hopefully be able to put screws into wood the best that you can. So let's get started. Okay, so we are going to go through the process of drilling this piece of wood and putting a screw into it, okay? And we're going to do that properly so that the screw isn't loose in any way. So first of all, we're going to clamp our work down. So I'm not going to use a bench hook this time, okay? Ideally, you would use a bench hook and put the clamp onto the bench hook and the work to keep everything steady. But in terms of seeing from the camera, I am just going to clamp it straight onto the table. So here's my material, here is my clamp, and I'm putting that on there and it's not going anywhere, okay? So when I'm drilling the piece of wood or using the screwdriver to put the screw into the wood, it's not going to move around. Okay, so here are my choices of drills. So a traditional hand drill or a pistol drill, either is fine, and they both generally work in the same way. I am going to use the pistol drill, and I'm going to show you how to put a drill bit in here, okay? But first of all, I've got to decide what size hole I'm going to drill in the wood so that I can put a screw into it, okay? And this is called drilling a pilot hole. So whenever you put screws into wood, you've got to drill a hole first, and that is called a pilot hole. If you don't drill a pilot hole, there's a chance, so if you just took a screwdriver and a screw and you tried to get that in there, yes, you'll get it started, okay? But it will get more and more difficult, so it won't be easy to turn the screw, and there's a very good chance you're going to split the wood that you are working with. Okay, so we always drill a hole first and then put the screw into that hole. Now, you need the screw that you're going to put into your work because you need the screw to choose what drill bit to use. So if I take this drill bit set here, now imagine I chose this one at the top here. If I use that drill and try to put the screw into that hole, then the screw is way too small, the hole is too big, okay? So I'm going to go along here like this and measure next to it, and I want a drill bit that's thinner than this part of the screw, okay? So I'm going to keep going, so I could probably use this one here. Now, I know that I want a really good tight fit, so I'm actually going to go a little bit smaller. So this is a 2.5mm drill bit, and if you ever lose the case that tells you the measurements, it always says the measurement on the lower part of the drill bit, okay? So I've got my drill bit, I've got my hand drill, and I'm going to put the drill bit into the chuck. So I don't know if you saw that, but I had to hold everything still, okay? If I don't hold it still, it rotates the handle out. So hold everything nice and tight. Make sure that when I turn the chuck, the jaws are shutting or they are opening, okay? So I'm gonna just close it and I'm gonna put the drill bit into the chuck, and I'm going to put it halfway down this cylindrical bit here. All right, and I'm going to tighten it up and hold the handle, hold the drill so the handle doesn't turn, and tighten the chuck as tight as it will go. So when I turn the handle forwards, the drill will drill forwards. When I reverse the handle, the drill will reverse. Okay, so you can have a little practice at drilling. So hold the drill vertically, Don't put too much pressure on it because it's a very thin drill bit, as chances are it can snap, and you are going to just turn the handle around and let the drill do the work. You don't need to press very hard at all. When you've stopped drilling, reverse the drill. Don't just pull the drill out. Once again, there's a chance you can snap the drill bit. Just reverse it and the drill will work its way out, okay? Now, a little tip to stop you going all the way through the material and drilling into the table is knowing when to stop, okay? And that's very hard because you can't see inside the piece of wood. So a little tip is to use a little bit of masking tape, put your drill bit on the side of the piece of wood so you know how far down you've gone, and then use a little bit of masking tape, wrap it all the way around, and you can use a little pair of scissors to trim it down if you want to, and then you know when you reach the masking tape that you need to stop. So drill, stop, reverse, and you have not gone through the wood, okay? Now, we can take our screw and we can take our screwdriver. Remember, make sure you get the right screwdriver for the screw that you are using, okay? So this one here, all right, is a posi. Yep, it's got the little marks coming off it there, okay? And we are going to put the screw into the hole and righty tighty, lefty loosey, okay? So righty tighty, and we can put that screw into there. Once again, you can put a little bit of masking tape onto the screws so you don't put the screws way far, you know, into the material and push it through. So you can use your little measuring technique and you can put some masking tape on there like that, and you can put the screws into the piece of wood like so, okay? And that is how you would join two components together as well, all right? You would drill a hole in the first component, drill a hole in the second component, put them together and put the screw through. Okay, so we can use our drilling skills to attach components together using dowels. So we can use dowels to connect two pieces instead of screws and nails. We can use dowels as kind of axles in vehicles. And the main thing you've got to remember about dowel, which is cylindrical pieces of wood, you can have a loose fit or a tight fit. So I'm just going to walk you through those things. So we're going to need our drill, and we're going to have to choose the correct size drill bit. You can get dowel in different diameters. So this dowel is 8 millimeters. So you can use your ruler to measure it. But if you buy it, then obviously it kind of comes in a pack, and you'll know what you've bought. So a slightly thicker dowel is 8 millimeters. The most popular one is probably 6 millimeters. But the thicker the dowel, the less likely it's going to snap. Kind of 6 millimeter can snap a bit easily, especially when you're using a hammer on it. And anything less than that is very easy to break. So I've got my drill, I've got my drill bits, I've got my dowel, and a nice way of knowing what size drill bit to use is either to use the kind of rack that the drill bits came in. So, you know, take out the one that you think is a similar size, and put the piece of dowel into it, okay? So that fits in 8 millimeters perfectly. You could even make your own dowel measuring gauge. So you can, have a piece of wood, You can drill a variety of holes at different sizes. You can label them. So for example, this would be an 8. And then the children could come to the kind of gauge with their piece of dowel, and whatever hole it fits in is going to tell you what size it is. So I've drilled a hole in this using an 8mm drill bit, and that is a loose fit. So the dowel can rotate around. So if you were making a vehicle, that is the hole that would be needed, the size hole that would be needed to allow an axle to turn around. But if I wanted a wheel on this, the wheel is going to have to be tight. So here's a wheel. Now it's already got a hole drilled in it, but that hole is way too small for that axle. So I'm going to drill it a little bit bigger, but not too big. If I drill it too big, then I'm going to have a loose fit. I want a tight fit. So it's always good to just, you know, be cautious with this. Go smaller than what you think, and you can always make it bigger. But if you go and make it too big straight away, you can't make it smaller. So I am going to clamp the wheel down, and I can do it on the bench hook or do it on a scrap piece of wood. And I'm gonna just clamp that to the table so that it's not going anywhere. And I'm gonna take my drill and I'm gonna take my drill bit. So I've gone for a 6.5mm drill bit, okay? Because I know that the dowel is 8, so I want to go smaller if I want a tight fit. So I'm going to just drill a hole in this MDF wheel. So if it does get a bit stuck, can you see what I'm doing? I'm going forward, then I'm reversing. I'm going forward and reversing. What I'm doing there is I'm releasing all the waste material by doing that. And when I start to see maybe a different shade of sawdust coming through, or it starts to move a little bit, then I've probably gone through the wheel, okay? Don't blow the sawdust away. You always just use your hands very gently to move the sawdust away. Don't blow the sawdust because it can come up and go in your eyes, and that is not a pleasant experience, okay? So I've drilled the hole bigger. Now, if I wanted, I could take my axle. In fact, I'm going to use this one here because I've done something to this one to help me hammer it through. And what I did was I took my file and I did what I called adding a chamfer, okay? And what a chamfer is I'm just taking the squareness away from the end. I'm making it into more of a point to help me hammer the dowel into the wheel. Okay, so I'm using my hammering skills, I'm using my drilling skills, and there we go. I did that very, very carefully because it's very easy to break the dowel. But that is a tight fit. And then you would have your loose fit, and you would have a vehicle that can move around. Okay, so that was us learning some drilling skills, learning how to put screws in properly using a pilot hole, learning how to put drill bits in, learning how to choose the right size drill bit, looking at dowels, tight fit, loose fit, and just generally having lots of fun, okay? So you can have a little bit of fun creating some things.